Good morning, folks. I'm Steve Semler at LearningSim, and I am very pleased to be able to talk with you this morning about the Business Growth Workshop, these strategies to boost your leads, sales, and profits as a small business owner. Let me fire this up and tell you a little about this secret formula, so to speak, that I use to find instant and immediate cash flow for my small business owner clients. This is using profit acceleration. I'll tell you a little bit about what that is in just a moment. First, let me get you the workbook here through the chat. I'm Steve Semler, and I am the lead consultant and business and executive coach at LearningSim. And I've been making leaders successful in a variety of ways for quite some time. Started off with military training, logistics, technology, work at the University of Minnesota, various consulting firms, corporate training, leadership development, business work. I am a certified focal point business and executive coach and a four-time entrepreneur myself. But I'm really more curious about folks here in our virtual room. Love for you to tell us and share your name, your role, and your company. Okay. So the objectives for the session here this morning, we want to demonstrate the power of profit acceleration, because I mentioned a little bit about that. And I want to get your head a little bit in the accounting realm, relying on the power that your accountant can provide. Shift your focus from just revenue to profit, because those are a bit different. We want to uncover tons of profit that are hiding in your business financials as well, and show you a couple of tips here near the end, how you can generate the exact same amount of profit for yourself as a $1 million business with just 25% of that revenue. And one kind of technique here with a couple of strategies where you can double your current profit by going through your business details in less than 5 minutes. Important thing to know is that about 50% of businesses, when we did the research, ran out of cash in the first 5 years. Of those, 82% weren't watching their business financials. This is why it's like playing football without a scoreboard. And it's why it's helpful to the health of your business to be working with your accountant on a regular basis. Learn what they have to offer to you. Take advantage of that so that you can keep track of the score. And not only where it is today, this month, but you can plan better 3 months out, a year out, and keep your business in the black and making cash and profit to keep yourself moving forward. But let's talk about profit acceleration. First, which would you rather have? $1 million or 1 penny doubled each day for a month? So think of your answer. Give me a thumbs up reaction here in Zoom. You've got that. Would you rather have $1 million or 1 penny doubled each day for a month? Okay. Some of you will have seen this before. So this is demonstrating the power of compounding. If you took 1 penny and then doubled it every day for 30 days, you would have over $5 million at the end of it. These things are multiplying together. It simply means that small incremental improvements can result in huge increases to your revenue and your profits. And that's where we created this profit acceleration simulator to help folks understand this concept and work with it for their own specific businesses. This AI-enabled profit acceleration tool and the software set that I have and use with folks as a coach has about 500 million algorithmic combinations built into it. And that lets me help business owners find strategy combinations that are going to work for their unique goals and their situations. And that's where I use it to demonstrate that power of compounding, that profit acceleration. So here's what you see. I've got a simulator site on my website that you can go in and plug in your own numbers and play with this a little bit for yourself. So you have to know up at the top there, your annual revenue, your gross profit margin as a percent, your net profit margin as a percent, and select the currency US dollars. And then you can use that slider to change your impact. So let's say you have an improvement in any or in all of these 12 profit strategies. If you'd like to grab this URL here at the bottom, I'll share it out later, but this is the free training where you can go in and get access to this particular simulator as well. If these 12 areas represent kind of the low-hanging fruit in your business, which is what we've kind of built them out to be, then we could work through several of them here this morning in this session so that you can get a sense for what it is and how to use it to start increasing your own profits. So refer to your workbook. This has several profit strategies plus more that we don't have time to go into on the short session. But we do want to look at profit. Let's start with the easiest way to increase your profit by increasing your prices. Now, but before we discuss ways to increase prices, let me mention two major factors that are going to affect it. I can go into more detail on this, but it's really just I want to plant the seed in your mind. Gross profit ratio, gross profit margin, is not the same as markup. So for comparison purposes, we want to know what the actual gross profit ratio is, not just rely on a markup that you might have been using to set prices. The other factor that goes into this is discounting. I'll show you an example of this a little bit, but just want to plant, again, the seed in your mind that when you discount, even by something as simple as 10%, that can kill your profits. So let's take a look at some ways to increase net profit by increasing the value that you offer, increasing the value we offer to our customers rather than discounting. I'll show you the side-by-side comparison here. So we've got two restaurants. Restaurant A is offering a 25% discount on your favorite $60 meal for two people. So it costs $60 off the menu. They're offering a 25% discount. Restaurant next door has that same favorite meal at the exact same price, $60. But they include a bottle of wine or beverages and a dessert for each of you for free. Which restaurant would you prefer to do business with? So enter your answer in the chat here. Just type into the chat A or B. Yeah, you're typically going to pick B there because you're getting more value. The restaurant offering you the 25% off is giving you a savings, $15. The second restaurant, that bottle of wine is listed on the menu for $25 and each dessert is $6. When you think about that, it just seems we're getting more for the money. You perceive that we're saving $37 instead of $15, A versus B. That $25 bottle of wine, though, cost the restaurant $7 wholesale, and the $6 desserts are $1 wholesale. So here's where it's helpful to work with your accountant and kind of get into the math as we compare these two. Let's take a look at restaurant A first. So that meal for two, restaurant A, $60. They've got a gross profit margin. We're just going to make it simple kind of across the industry here of 50%. That means that 50% of our list price, $60, is what we're going to get as our regular profit, $30. Now, because we've discounted, we have to apply the discount off of that. So that 25% discount is coming off that top price. That means it costs us to discount $15 for this deal. That goes right against our regular profit, makes our new profit $15. So we gain $15 instead of $30. And the perceived value of that is pretty clear to the customer as $15. Hey, we're saving $15, says the customer. Restaurant B. Now they've got the meal for two plus wine and dessert. They're listing it for $60. Their gross profit margin is also 50%. Their regular profit on that meal is $30. The cost for those freebies to the restaurant is $9. So their new profit after their their deal is $21. So you can already compare the new profit of restaurant A, $15, $6 lower than the profit of restaurant B. So for the customer standpoint, customers seeing the additional value of the wine is 25, additional value of 2 desserts is 12. That's $37 perceived value to the customer. Profit for B is 40% higher than it is for restaurant A. And second restaurant only spent $9. And yet they still created the perception that their customers receiving much more value for their money, $37 versus a $15 value. That's 247% more value for their particular deal. And in this case, both the restaurant and the customer come away winners. That's the important thing. Then, once restaurant B promotes this offering in their marketing, they create a market dominating position. They become known for this. So they can take advantage of this bundled deal to create a market dominating position, something that you'd be silly to go to a different restaurant because you're going to get so much more value for going to restaurant B. So go ahead and take some notes for yourself here. Where do you see an opportunity in your business to bundle things for value rather than discounting on that list price? So take a moment, record an idea or two for yourself. Okay, here are 3 options to increase your net profit. Option number 1, increase prices. Most small businesses haven't raised their prices since like ever. It's even with some of the pandemic and supply chain increasing, people have been really hesitant to raise prices because they're worried that people will leave them, in droves if they increase the prices. Well, let's explore that. Let's explore what that means. So let's say you sell a widget for $100. And your cost of goods sold, the cost to produce or to acquire and then sell that widget is $70. So list price $100, cost of goods sold $70. You decide to increase that price 10% to $110. That's a 10% price increase. Will that small increase really lead to a loss of customers? Well, quite possibly, yeah. That's real life. A few of your customers might leave. But they're also the ones who are most likely going to be, the people who are, just are shopping purely on price. They have no loyalty to you. They don't, they could just as easily go down the street. They're happy doing that. And they may be the ones who take up the most of your time and effort. But even though there's going to be some customer attrition, how big will it be? Well, let's take a look and do some comparison. So the business is now making an additional $10, all of which is profit because our cost of goods sold remains at $70. So that's a 33% profit increase. So for this business to make $1,000 in profit selling their widgets at $100 each, they need to sell 33.3 widgets, before the price increase. So in order to get $1,000 with a $30 profit, you need to sell 33 1/3. But by increasing their price 10%, they only need to sell 25 widgets to get that same $1,000 of profit. Now this is just breaking even. So what's the difference there between 33.3 widgets and 25 widgets? That's 8.3 widgets. That's the difference. That's the room that they have to spend. That means just to break even, this business would have to lose 25% of its customer base over that measly 10% price increase. And that, just by the research, is not going to happen. It's not going to be that big. They're not going to lose that many. We do, and I do caution people, err on the side of caution, test the increase on a small scale to gauge the reaction, see what's going to happen, test this out. But, your still likely to gain quite a bit here. There simply is no faster or easier way to generate additional profit. And this is one of the things that your accountant is going to be able to work with you on. So option number 2 for increasing profit, leverage your profit and loss statement, your P&L statement. This simply means that you need to know what parts of your profit and loss statement can make you the most money in the shortest amount of time, and ideally at zero cost to you. So for example, based upon my P&L, should I be lowering overhead or increasing revenue? Okay, make a bet with yourself here. Should you lower overhead or increase revenue? Give me a thumbs up in Zoom here with the reactions piece. And let me know, give me a thumbs up when you've made your decision. Lower overhead or increase revenue. Make that personal bet with yourself. Okay, let's test this out. So let's lower our overhead by 20%. So here's the really, really basic financials. This is the really, really basic profit and loss statement. We have revenue of 300K. We have cost of goods sold, variable costs of 180,000. That means subtracting that, our gross profit is $120,000. Then we calculate our gross profit percentage. That's the gross profit ratio or gross profit margin. It's 40%. Gross profit, 120 divided by 300,000 is 40%. And we also have overhead costs of $60,000. So those are all the other bills that we have to pay. It could be labor, office expense, utilities, rent, insurance, all the other services and things like that. So after all of the bills are paid, that gives us a net profit, $120,000 gross minus the overhead. That leaves us with $60,000. So that's our net. So let's lower overhead. Keep everything else the same. Lower this by 20%. This is really substantial. Let's assume we can do it. And that means that if we've lowered our overhead by 20%, we've gone down to 48,000 on overhead. That bumps up our net profit by $12,000. That's pretty substantial. And no, that's not an increase in revenue. We haven't sold any more. We haven't sold any more widgets or anything like that. Just an increase in profit from reducing the overhead cost. So let's do the comparison. How much increased revenue would be required to generate that $12,000 in increased profits? 40% gross profit means that for every dollar in sales, only 40 cents of it is profit. So there's the math on that. We would need to sell an additional $30,000 in revenue in order to get that $12,000 in increased profit. So every dollar reduction in overhead costs generates 100% of that amount to your bottom line. But every dollar increased revenue, in this case, only delivers 40 cents or whatever that gross profit ratio percentage is. That's what that gross profit ratio means. For every dollar in sales, in revenue, you get whatever that percentage is. In this case, 40 cents. This average across industries being 50 cents. It means that reducing overhead in this case has a 250% greater impact versus increasing revenue. So keep this in your mind. Increasing price and cutting costs always return 100% on your bottom line. That's money that goes to your bank account. So let's use option number 3 here, profit acceleration. We're not going to go for big increases this time. So we had 20% before, but let's improve all 3 of these areas by 5%, something that's probably doable. Let's boost our revenue by 5%. Let's reduce our cost of goods sold. Let's negotiate some pricing discounts of 5%. And let's find some things in our overhead costs that we can take out. Just 5% in each of those categories. So you see, when we do this, the overall net profit goes up not by 12,000, but by $27,000. It's a 45% increase in net profit with overall smaller changes, probably more doable. So let me leave you with that for a moment to think. Go to page 2 in your workbook and think of, if you applied this strategy for your business, what's the estimated profit impact that you could attain for this strategy? I'm going to step back and give you an opportunity here to think about this stuff. I do encourage you to learn from your peers as we go along the way. Throw things in the chat, come off of mute and discuss as needed. But here are some things for you to think about for your industry, for your business. How do your competitors most often set their prices? How do they use discounts? What opportunities might that create for you, especially if you're able to differentiate on value and create a market dominating position? Okay. Let's take a look further again at cutting costs. You notice this is a little bit different because this drops this is in the simulator. And this does drop directly to the bottom line. Cut costs and increase prices in the simulator have the real world, P&L effect. So in your workbook, for that next page, I explain 15 quick and simple ways to cut your overhead. The one that saves my clients most money overall is a supplier and vendor audit, cost audit, supplier audit. And look for the things that you're purchasing routinely and that make up a big chunk of your costs. So begin with the suppliers and vendors. So for example, women's hair salon, they may buy $10,000 per month of Clairol hair products. Do you think that suppliers for Trezem, Garnier, Nexus, or L'Oreal might offer a 10 or 20% discount just to get your business? Probably. So there's an opportunity to get a savings of $1,000 to $2,000 per month. Different ways to approach that. Turn to page 3 in your workbook. Same thing. Estimate if you could get some nudges here. What do you think would be reasonable and realistic to work on and get a result for in this area? Okay. Now let's tackle the big thing that the vast majority of small business owners wrestle with. It's lead generation. How do I get people in the door? How do I get people to become customers? So every business wants more leads. It's one of the profit strategies down there. In order to do that effectively, you have to know and understand proper marketing fundamentals. If you want to stand out from your competition, you're going to need to create that market dominating position, like with that restaurant B, and you're going to need to have a compelling offer that come with it. Lots more detail available on that. But if you think about the key to successful marketing, you have to be able to kind of get into that conversation taking place in the head of your prospects, the people who could be your customers. Another way to think about it is you want to address that question of curiosity that's most important to your prospect at the time that their attention is captured. Just the right time. So conversation is taking place in everybody's mind who could be in your market for your product or services. It's revolving around two things. There's a problem that they have that they don't want that you address, and there's a result that they want but they don't yet have. You are the solution for that if you know how to make yourself different. So the conversion equation to convert prospects into customers is to get their attention with the interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. So the interrupt is your headline. That's addressing that problem that they have that they don't want. The engage is your subheadline, offering them the result that they want that they don't yet have. And then educate them on how it is that you are different and serve that need, so that you can show that you are superior in these particular ways to your competition that is of interest to those prospective customers. Your offer has to be easy, has to be compelling, has to be something that says, oh, yeah, I'm happy to take advantage of what you're asking me to do here. So it's irresistible and easy. So, prospects wouldn't turn it down. It'd be silly to turn it down. Often, buyers are on a particular journey. So the people who could be buying your product or service right now are thinking of, they might be future buyers. By the research, only 1 to 3% of people are looking to buy right now. And when they are, they're comparing businesses. They're comparing their options. So that's when they're asking, who should I buy from? Should I buy from restaurant A or restaurant B? If you have provided them what they want earlier and you've already got information in front of them and have established a relationship with that information well before they're ready to buy, then you've already made your case. You've presented your market dominating position. You've made yourself unique to them, and they understand and see the value in what you offer. So let me show you a case study about this. This is with a cosmetic surgeon. I've got a bunch of case studies. I'm looking to get more from kind of our local area and a couple of other industries here. But this one will be talking about the twin profit strategy of the market dominating position and the compelling offer. So we had the cosmetic surgeon who specialized in mommy makeovers. His target market was women ages 30 to 45 who had 2 or more children, and he was running Facebook pay-per-click, PPC, pay-per-click ads. He was spending $6,000 a month on it. And that was generating, 35 leads a month for him. He was really in a bind, which is why he was looking for help to turn that around. He had no market dominating position that really addressed the primary problem that his ideal client faced. So here's his original website. And his ad was, and this is his pay-per-click on Facebook, nurture the body that will provoke true envy. So if you think about women ages 30 to 45 with two or more kids, is this really going to be what they want? Is that going to address the problem that they have and don't want? Is that going to be speaking to their result that they want and don't have? No, probably not. So we worked with them and changed this around a little bit and found this one to work. You want the body you had before you had kids? That did absolutely strike much more of a chord. That was more of a market dominating position. I'm giving you back what you had before you had kids. I'm helping you get back to what you want. So going from 35, that generated 400 leads per month. Huge lead increase. So his conversion rate with those earlier 35 leads was 0. He had no compelling offer. Now think about this. That when somebody clicked on the Facebook ad, they'd just come here to this website, to this general website. There's nothing for the prospect to do. It's just, okay, I go to the website. Oh, I can call the number. That was his offer before. So here is an example of what this would look like reworked. You see that conversion equation up top. But he sent them to a squeeze page, which is what it's called when you have a single topic. So if I'm going to put up that advertisement about, do you want the body you had before you had kids? Yes, I click on it. I go to this page that's all about that, just about that. So it doesn't have the rest of the distracting information about your business and stuff like that. It's just kind of squeezing the topic in to one page. And you can see that people on the buying journey are early on. For the most part, they want information. So we're going to give them that. We're going to say, here's the body, here's the top line. I want the body I had before I had kids. The result I want that I don't have. Get rid of problem areas in my hips, thighs, and tummy. explains how it works in the middle there, and then gives a very simple offer. Get the report about mommy makeover surgeries. Enter your name and your email address. We'll give you a report. So this is kind of an example of the profit acceleration piece, just results from working in just two of these profit strategy areas. His previous conversion rate was 0%. No one who came to his website after clicking the Facebook ad took advantage of calling him or anything. But that get the report piece, his new offer generated 67% of the people that clicked on the Facebook ad and got to that squeeze page website, portion of his website, 67% entered their name and email address. And then of those, he converted 12% into patients. So here's the results from improving just in two areas. His new ad generated 400 prospects per month, 67% opt-in rate, 268 new leads, 12% conversion rate, 32 new patients, and then that generated almost $600,000 in monthly revenue for a profit impact of 1,100%. Huge. Found the formula that works. So the question here is, would you like to have similar results for your business? So here are some steps to take. Let's go to the simulator first and kind of enter some numbers in here. Create a market dominating position. What is the thing that is of great value to your customers? Identify it, use that conversion equation. Develop a compelling offer so that they can get something easily that puts them on the path to becoming your customer. Not selling them right away, your full offer, your product, but giving them something that they can get on the path to working with you on their journey. Design your marketing message around those two fundamentals. Send them to a squeeze page, not to your general website. You'll squeeze it down to just what they're interested in. Then watch the leads flow in, if you're not changing anything else about your marketing. Then be sure to have something to help follow up with all prospects, preferably within an hour, like an email responder. Your competition probably isn't doing this, but this is how you create a lead generation program that lets you bypass competition. It is relatively simple, but it does require some thought and some effort. This is where small improvements can make a large impact. It does not require you to spend more on marketing or advertising. This is, of course, assuming you have control over your own website. What we'd want you to do is to get more impact from your existing budget. But I encourage you to take a look at page 4 in your workbook. And again, thinking realistically, what's a realistic boost? What's a realistic profit impact you could gain from work in this strategy area? So here's something for thought. What do you think is the biggest problem that your customers have and don't want that you are uniquely positioned to solve with your business? And what's the result they want, but they don't have? There's your market dominating position, part 1. And then for the compelling offer, what could you do to meet that customer need with an information offer for the 97% of the buyers who are not yet buyers? So work that. So there are additional profit acceleration strategies. We've only gone through just a few of them here. There's joint ventures, there's upselling and cross-selling, there's bundling, digital marketing, many more in the book. And so in that book that I've got, the Profit Accelerator, 12 AI enhanced strategies to double your small business income, it goes through all of those. So here's the last trick for you. We're going back to, this is coming from the accounting, which is, make sure you know what your accountant can do for you and how to read those statements. If you'd like to double your current profit, you can do this, just in working out the numbers in less than 60 minutes without spending any additional money. And we'll use $1 million business just for ease of making the math work so you can see it. we're going to double that current profit. If you do a minor cost cut, just 5% cost cut, and 5.5%, 5.5% price increase, that is going to double the profit of any business that has a net profit margin of 10%. Doesn't matter what the revenue is, doesn't matter what their gross profit margin is even. Just these two pieces working together is something, just the cost cutting and increased pricing by a small amount, just 5% and then 5.5%. Something that you can do, with Excel or with whatever, tools you've got, consult your accountant and figure out how to do that. Less than 60 minutes. So the question I have for you then is, if you spent 1 week on each of these profit areas, what profit impact percentage would you estimate you could generate? Just working for a quarter, 3 months. What would happen if we stay conservative and just say, okay, let's work in all of these areas and just get a 5% boost, a 5% impact. If all we achieved was just that measly 5% profit impact, we'd skyrocket the profits overall. You can see by $427,000, almost 427%. Again, to get access to the simulator, plug that into your browser, bookmark or favorite it. I want to make sure you have the opportunity to take advantage of that. Yeah, that page there gets you signed up for the simulator and also has an 11-minute training video on how to use these strategies while spending less time in your business. So it's both and, assuming you want to work on that. Together, this is the advantage of learning and coaching. Overall profits going to increase from 100,000 to 527,000, annual profits in just 12 weeks. In reality, I think we would see profit impacts of 15 to 20% rather than 5 in a number of areas. And probably there are, 2 or 3 areas that you might not feel is appropriate for your business, depending upon what, or that you're already doing pretty well in some areas. But you should be able to get some significant profit impact, some significant profit gains in your business. So, what I do with folks is that, together, I sit down with you. This has been the kind of the group setting, but I sit down with folks and I take you through the profit acceleration software, and we figure out, what's the individual percentage for each of those 12 areas, or the key ones that you think will work for your specific business. And you come out with a roadmap. You get a report listing the strategies that you feel are most appropriate for your particular business situation, generate the maximum profit for what you've got to work with. And it gives you then the implementation steps and timeline, which I really like. So this is the path that you get to create the maximum amount of revenue and profit in the shortest timeline. So use the QR code here, or that link, to reserve your time for your individual profit acceleration assessment. This is free to you. It can, what my compelling offer is, I want to be allowed to use your results as a case study. Like I said before, I've got a bunch of case studies in here, but there are some industries I don't have and some local stuff I don't have. And then I'll sit down, you get the report for free. So you've ready to go on that, and go ahead and implement it, then we're good. Yeah. And to help you get more from this short workshop here today, I'll also send you the Profit Accelerator ebook version as a complimentary thank you for people who are signing up for either that simulator or the Profit Acceleration software assessment. And again, this is free to you in exchange for being allowed to use your results as a case study. I can take your name, like you saw here, I can take your name off of it and things like that. So, it's still confidential, just an actual case study. Most of all, though, as you're doing this, as you're reserving your time, I want you to be able to use this and use the benefits of your accountant's knowledge in being able to interpret and work with those financial statements. Remember, the businesses that fail are the ones that aren't paying attention to their scorecard, their financial statements. They're playing football without the scoreboard. They're not looking ahead. They're not looking at where they are. I want you to be able to take advantage of the things that'll help you make your business strong and healthy and profitable, so that you can get the results out of it that you wanted when you went into business for yourself. To wrap up here, for yourself and for others, if you've made some interesting or valuable connections, kind of in the chat and our little breakout groups here, share your contact information. Connect on social media as it's comfortable. Continue this conversation. We are better together as a small business community. Last line there, insight is what you've got today. Insight is knowledge, insight's information, insight's awareness, but it doesn't mean that anything happens. Action is the other 80%. Use what you've learned today to reach your goals. Take advantage of the resources, the simulator, the software assessment to accelerate your own profits. Just imagine what you could achieve in your own business. And thank you very much for attending. Again, I'm Steve Semler at LearningSim, Focal Point Certified Business and Executive Coach. Do take advantage of the resources, connect with the simulator, sign up for that profit acceleration software assessments. We can go through what works for your business. Happy to help, always willing to answer questions and work with you in whatever way makes sense to make you most successful. Thank you much. Look forward to talking with you soon. Hope you choose to have a good day. Cheers.